Hey guys, welcome back to Surviving the 100. Today we're talking about Season 5, Episode 4, or as I like to call it, all the reunions. Showrunner Jason Rothenberg is back in the studio. Let's get right to it because there is so much to talk about. First and foremost, obviously, the Lark reunion, yay! Obviously fans have been waiting for this scene for a while now. It feels like forever. What did you guys want to achieve when you sat down to create it?
You know, there's a sense in the beginning of that scene that Clark isn't sure it's real. Like that she saw him through the lights, she was being tortured, you know, she was out of her mind with fear and pain and everything else. And suddenly he appeared and she doesn't know if it was real or not. They whisked them apart, they didn't talk until this moment in 504. And so there's some of that, like, you're real. I think she even says it, you know, like it's mind-blowing for both of them. He's now had some time to kind of adjust to the realization that she's alive, but clearly hasn't fully absorbed it.
And moving forward, their relationship in the past has always been combative and then partnership, and then it's just been push and pull. What is their relationship going to look like moving forward? Are they going to be a unified team?
Well, right now they are, yeah. I mean, you know, he's on top of showing up to save her just in time. He's also figured out a way to get the bunker open, which she hasn't been able to do in 6 years. You know, he's come down with a plan and he has leverage, as they say, over Diyoza and the miners who have the gear to get it done. And so she's, you know, she's amazed by that too. Here he is, you know, the impulsive Bellamy who she said to him at the end of last season, you know, you got to use this and this, you got to integrate the head and the heart. And he took that, you know, seriously, and now he has come back and he is grown up and he is sort of a much more mature version of himself.
And when they do pop the lid, I called this episode the episode of all the reunions, all of them.
Yeah,
because
we got reunion heavy.
Bellamy and Octavia in particular, that is a rough reunion because he sees just how far she's gone.
Yeah, I mean, that moment to me when the dust clears and she sees that it's him and drops her sword, and just for a moment, you know, all of the Blood Reina stuff washes away and it's just her big brother, you know. For him, it's not quite the same. For him, you're right, they're dropped into hell. And, you know, it's much more evident, I think, in Clark's reaction. And, you know, Bellamy is freaked out by it for sure, but like Clark is looking around and doesn't even hug Octavia. It's more of a handshake moment between the two of them. And I feel like you're right. Like very strange. They did not anticipate what they would find when that door opened.
And Abby and Clark got to reunite, which was a lovely moment to see her with her mother again. Yeah. How do you think Clark's going to react to this like addiction issue that Abby has developed?
Well, you know, as we see at the end of this episode, they're separated again, so she doesn't really get a chance to even question her mother about it. She doesn't know her mother's addicted to painkillers. And it's funny, you know, I had a meeting with Paige in the off-season. We were talking about Abby and we were thinking about what we could do with her, and it was Paige's idea, which I thought was interesting. And then the more I thought about it and sort of the times that we're living through with the opioid addiction crisis, and, you know, just felt like it's something that we hadn't done before, obviously. And she's just so good in it. Like, I haven't seen a performance that good, certainly from her, but in general, it's just like, she blows my mind all season long.
Another thing that we got to see in this episode was a little bit of a hint at why the prisoners are so desperate, and that it seems like they're all sick. There's some sort of sickness that they need Abby to cure for them. What can you tease about that storyline?
They need a doctor, that's for sure, and it becomes a bigger story going forward. So, you know, we don't talk much about it, obviously, in 4. It becomes, in 5, we find out what is ailing them. So, yeah, and it becomes, you know, I don't want to ruin too much about it, but Diyoza is, you know, calculating, and the thing about her is she recognizes your weakness and she exploits it if she has to. And so she's going to see right away that she can use that against Abby to get what she wants. So it's going to be tricky for Paige, for Abby, but, you know, hopefully she'll come through it. Death Watch.
It's coming up. I have to say, though, Shaw is now my precious little baby. No one can hurt him.
Yeah.
He's adorable. Am I sensing that there might be a little bit of a love interest situation going on with him and Raven? Give Raven a love interest.
Yes. Okay, I'll do it for you. Yeah, I think, you know, first of all, he's amazing. Jordan's amazing. And just such a sweet soul and has such a great story if you talk to him. Shaw is definitely impressed by Raven, just from afar. He doesn't even know that she's a she. As far as he knows, it's just some badass computer programmer who's like foiling his every attempt, Whoever that is, he wants to know her. Right? He doesn't meet her in 4. He doesn't meet her until 5. So,
yeah, they go back up at the end of 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a little bit early for you to be picking up those vibes, but maybe you have a good radar.
I have a really good
things.
intuition.
Yeah. Who's going to screw next episode?
That would do really well.
Screw a thing? Can we say that?
Screw's a thing.
On the internet? Do we say?
On the internet, you can say anything you want.
That's true. It's the wild, wild west.
So something that I did pick up on in this episode is that Dioza is doing essentially the same thing that Clark and Octavia and Bellamy have done time and time again. She's doing whatever it takes to protect her people. Yeah. Are we supposed to interpret it that way? She can't really be a villain if she's doing exactly what our favorite characters have been doing.
Right. It's gray. Everybody lives in the gray, and we say this all the time, but it's true. What Bellamy and Clark are doing is no different than what Dioza is doing at this point, and we will love one side and hate the other, and hopefully by the end of the season, some people will have come around to Team Dioza, because I think as long as you understand the reasons why someone's doing something, then I think you can get behind it. So, and she is more of she's a tragic hero in some ways. She's not a bad guy. She's someone who did bad things for a good reason. McCreary, on the other hand, okay, I'm going to contradict myself totally with the next thing I say.
He's bad. He's bad news.
Yeah, he is. He's not good.
And finally, we left Raven and Murphy in possibly the worst situation. All of the prisoners are awake. They could barely handle one. Should they be on my death watch this week?
Raven and Murphy? No, not yet.
Good.
They're going to have a very rough ride of it in the next episode, but they're not dead yet.
Cool. Good to know.
Generally speaking, when someone important dies, they're going to die on camera. So, just saying.
Just saying. Well, thank you so much for stopping by.
This has been great.
This has been amazing. And now we're going to actually go to the Death Watch, and I'm going to tell you who I think is definitely dying this season. This week is a really sad Death Watch because I totally think Abby's going to die this season. Let me tell you why. So Abby is absolutely necessary for the prisoners to cure whatever the space illness is that they've caught. But the second that she does that, she is completely expendable to them. I don't know, I just feel like she's in the most dangerous position she could ever be in, and we should watch out for Abby. Less expendable is Raven. Her hacking abilities are super impressive, but she just used those hacking abilities to all last episode. Those prisoners are not going to be happy with her when they get back up there. Let's just hope that Shaw, otherwise known as my new baby, can protect her, his new love interest. I'm making it happen. Do you see? I'm making it happen. And that is it for episode 4 of Surviving the 100. If you guys agree with this week's Death Watch, leave a comment below. Tell me if I'm right, tell me if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm crazy. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.